Hey there, it's Katie here from CreativeHealingPhilly.com, and I am enjoying a snow day from home. I hope that you're all doing the same, but what I wanted to do was talk to you today a little bit about if your teen is struggling with low self-esteem and some of the strategies that you can use to actually help them boost their self-esteem with what I call my past, present, future strategy. So what's interesting is, or probably sad, is that this week in our groups, we were talking a lot about different teen triggers and teen stressors. And body image and self-esteem was such a big one. We were rating stressors from 0 to 10, 10 being the most stressed or upset or sad, and 0 being none at all. And, across genders, no matter what, a lot of these body image concerns were 10 out of 10. Teens were comparing themselves to others. They were feeling like they weren't good enough. They were feeling like they didn't look the way that they wanted to look in order to feel like their best selves. And so we're going to start to work on some of these self-esteem strategies and how to own your worth, how to feel more like the person that you want to be, and be able to approach the world with confidence so that you can be your best self. And so the first one that I want to talk about is your past strategy. So we're going to talk about three different strategies, past, present, and future, to help you understand how you can support your teen every step along the way. One that I talk about all the time is what went well. We start each of our groups with what went well. What was something from the past week that went really well for you, that made you feel happy? I find it important to highlight and to acknowledge the positives, because when we're working with depressed and anxious teenagers, oftentimes it's really hard to see the positives. We're hardwired to see what's not working for us, because that's how we've been able to stay alive, keep ourselves safe. Going back to like caveman times, you had to remember that a saber-toothed tiger was going to eat you over that it might be cute or furry. So our brains are hardwired to remember the negative over the positive. So a lot of the work that we do is helping teens become more mindful of what is working in their lives. And so for you as a parent, that might mean helping them look back on the day and saying something like, what went well today? What worked for you? What made you happy today? What were you proud of yourself for today? Helping them to tease out and to highlight some of those positives so that they can begin to internalize that kind of thinking and take that into the world with them. The other thing that I would encourage you to do then as a parent is to acknowledge positive traits and interactions right after they're happening, so that you can highlight that for your teen. And so what that might look like is, if you were watching your teen in a band rehearsal or band performance, we have a lot of teenagers that are in the band at all the different schools. You might say like, oh, I noticed you interacting with Chloe and that you were laughing and it seemed like you were being a really good friend to her. Or I really admire the way that you picked up that thing that your teacher dropped and handed it to him. I thought that was really helpful of you. I'm impressed with how responsible or kind or caring that you are. So being able to highlight those good qualities and attributes as they're happening, so that your teenager can actually have these concrete and real world examples of how they're good enough and how they're, doing something well in their lives. So that's number one, is the past strategy of what went well. All right. Number two is the what's working right now strategy. So this is when you're helping your teenager come up with, or you're encouraging them to engage in activities that make them feel really good about themselves. So it's all about helping them experience that feeling of confidence so that they know what it feels like and they feel empowered and they believe that they can have it and then attract more of it. So if you've ever heard, there's a saying, that, like attracts like and things like that. So confidence attracts confidence. So you want to really encourage your teen to engage in activities that make them feel good about themselves. Maybe that's playing a sport. Maybe that's baking. Maybe that's doing art. And it's not at all about the finished product and what comes out of it. And it's everything to do with how they're feeling in the moment, so that they can attract more of that feeling and believe that they are capable of and worthy of feeling confident and liking themselves. And that's the present strategy. So that's all about mindfulness, right? It's about soaking in the moment and really feeling what's happening in that moment. Number three is the future strategy. And this is how can you cope ahead and empower yourself? In DBT, dialectical behavior therapy, we have a skill called cope ahead. And it's all about being aware of your triggers and the difficult situations that you encounter in your life, and then having a concrete plan for how to handle them, so that going into the situation, you feel more confident and you feel self-assured that you know what to do should that difficult situation or should that uncomfortable thing arise for you. Sometimes for our anxious teens, this actually means just having an exit strategy. So knowing that Yes, you're entering into a situation that's difficult for you. And also there's a way for you to leave the situation, whether that's a script for how to talk to someone about getting out of the situation or some kind of pass to leave class if they need to. But knowing that even though we're encouraging them to enter a situation that's difficult for them, we can actually give them a way to exit the situation if it becomes unbearable for them. So my top 3 strategies for building self-esteem in a past, present, future capacity are: number 1, to look at what's went well, to highlight those positives that have already happened in the past. Number 2, encourage things that make your teen feel confident and self-assured in the moment so that they can believe that they can experience that feeling and have more of it. And number 3, plan to cope ahead for situations that are difficult. If you have a teen who's struggling with self-esteem and wants to feel empowered, confident, connected, able to cope with situations that are difficult for them, we have 1 space left in our Teen Girls Self-Esteem group. It will really help your teen to learn to tune into how she's feeling right now, to learn to overcome that self-critical language that she may be placing on herself and learn to treat herself more like a friend. You'd never hear your teen, use some of the critical language that she has about herself to one of her friends. And we want to help your teen learn to be her own best friend. So feel free to reach out. I will put a link in the comments if you want to go ahead and apply for that last spot. And if anything, I hope that this information was helpful for you in helping your teen become more confident. Again, I'm Katie from CreativeHealingPhilly.com, and have an amazing day. Take care.